This is my recorded self-reflection for internship 3. My name is Rose Sandoval. I feel like I've made a lot of growth this year, especially this year compared to last year. Last year was really difficult for me, mostly because of the classroom that I was in. I was in ASD level 3, K through 2, and I was kind of thrown in the water. I was told there were going to be no behaviors in my classroom, and that's why I chose the school that I was at, because I had offers from 3 different schools, and all of those kids had severe behaviors, and I knew that I didn't want to work with severe behaviors, so I came to McGill, which is the school I was at last year. And so the kids ended up having severe behaviors, so there was absolutely no teaching going on at all. It was just managing behaviors, and they were pretty extreme behaviors, and I didn't have any support for my AP, so I had a really, really, really hard year. I was struggling with finding ways to teach while also managing behaviors, and it didn't go well at all. I know that now I could have used a lot more support from my AP, and I did not get any of it. But this year I feel like I've made a lot of growth in my teaching and how I work with my kids. This year I'm in cross-categorical pre-K, so I have ages 3 to 5, and my kids are great. I absolutely love them. I still do have some challenging behaviors, but they're not nearly as severe, and they're definitely manageable. And coming from Marcus, from the Marcus Institute, it's a much easier transition going from Marcus to teaching here, because the kids in this classroom this year are closer in age to the kids that I had at Marcus, which was nice. But in the beginning of the school year, I feel like I was on the struggle bus just a little bit. There were things that I was struggling with, like circle time, and small groups, and how to implement that. But I went and observed a couple of classrooms. I had my AP come and do some extra observations on me, and I had we have 3 pre-K classrooms in my school. We have my class, we have an autism pre-K, and we have a severe and profound pre-K. So I went and spoke with the ASD pre-K teacher, and she helped me a little bit and gave me some resources, which was really helpful. And I was able to implement some more things in my class that she was doing, and some more things in my class that some of the women at the other schools were doing, and that was super, super helpful. So for example, center time was a big one that I feel like have made a big improvement in. I used to kind of just assign my kids centers, and they had to stay there, and then we would switch. But now what I do is I use some visuals, and I have visuals at the bottom of my board, and I put out what centers are open. It has the name of the center and like a little icon of what is happening in the center, so they kind of know what it is, because they can't read yet. So I'll put up 4 centers, and I can have 3 students per center, and the kids have little circles with their picture and name on it, and the kids have to come and find their picture, and they put it at what center they're going to be at. And they know that they're only allowed to have 3 friends per center, and so they know that once a center is full, they cannot go there anymore. They have to choose a different center. So they go and they choose their centers, and then at any time throughout our center time, if they would like to change centers, they have to go up to the board and move their picture from whatever center they're at to whatever center they're going to. So they don't have to ask me if they want to change centers or anything like that. They just go and they do that independently. And my kids do really, really well with that. I'm really proud of them. And then while the kids are at centers, myself and my paras are facilitating play and taking data on their IEP goals and objectives. I found that center time is a really great time to do that, because most of my kids' IEP goals and objectives are social emotional, so they need that play piece, and center time is a great time to get that data. Another thing that I feel like I've made a lot of growth and progress on is my circle time. I feel like I think I've done circle time for most of my recordings because of how much I've changed in my circle time. I went back and watched my circle time from the beginning of the year recently, and I was like, wow, like there's a lot that I added. I started doing patterns with my kids, and my kids actually, I feel like I want to brag on them for a second. My kids are doing so well with their patterns that we started off doing A-B patterns, right? But now we're doing A-B-C patterns, and they're doing it independently. I'm so proud of them. So I added patterns. I have class jobs that the kids do every day. They absolutely love their class jobs. We do calendar now. I was like really against doing calendar time for a while because I don't think that calendar is developmentally appropriate because they can't grasp the concept of time until they're much older than what they are now. So I was like, we're not going to do calendar. Like, that's dumb. They can't understand it. But then one of my parents was like, well, Rose, like, just because we're doing calendar doesn't mean like it's not necessarily focused on the time. Like, it's not necessarily focused on like the days of the week. Like, really, when we're doing calendar, we're working on counting. We're working like rote counting. We're working on sequencing the days of the week. What comes before a day, what comes after a day, identifying numerals. So there's lots of other things that she brought up, and I was like, you know what, Miss Lisa, you're right. So I added calendar, and now we're doing calendar. The kids are doing great with it. We are, about half of them are rote counting to about 22, which is fantastic because a lot of them had IEP goals to rote count to 5. And so now that we're rote counting to 22, amazing. And then I've added like colors, identifying colors, and we have a little color game that they like to do. I have these little crowns that have like different colored objects in it, and they have to find the color of the week. We do letter of the week, and we do shape of the week. Okay, I think I'm running over my time now, but overall, I think I've made a lot of progress. I definitely still have some areas for growth, but I think overall I've made a lot of progress from the beginning of the year to now.